Today we're going to whip up these almost bite-sized little sweets called cream puffs. We're going to stuff them with a sweet Chantilly cream, top them with a dark chocolate ganache, and some roasted pistachios. Let's start by making a classic Pate Choux dough. So grab a medium-sized sauce pot and add 1 cup of water, a mixture of 1 teaspoon sugar and a half teaspoon of kosher salt, as well as 5 ounces of unsalted butter. Bring the mixture to a simmer over medium-high heat, and all at once add 5 ounces of all-purpose flour. Reduce the heat to low and stir the dough until it forms a cohesive mass and a thin film begins to form at the bottom of the pot. This should only take a minute or two, and at this point, we can begin to incorporate eggs into the dough. Place the Pate Choux into the bowl of a stand mixer fitted with a paddle attachment and let the dough cool for about 5 minutes. Now, if it's too hot, the dough's going to cook our eggs as we try to incorporate each one. Add 4 eggs, one at a time, and continue to mix the dough at medium speed until it forms into a paste. The Pate Choux will look broken at first, but give it some time and eventually the dough will come together. And also, no worries if you don't have a mixer. You can make this Pate Choux with just a bowl and a wooden spoon. Alright, this is how the dough should look when it's done. It should slowly fall off a spatula or a large wooden spoon just like this. Now, it's time to place the Pate Choux into a pastry bag fitted with a 1/2-inch round tip, and use a glass like I do here to make that process just a little bit easier. Push the dough toward the tip and give the bag a twist. Then put the bag aside and grab a 12 by 16-inch piece of parchment paper. Mark off spots for your cream puffs using a 2-inch ring mold and a pencil. You should have enough room for a maximum of 24 cream puffs per sheet pan. Now dab a little bit of Pate Choux dough in each corner of the sheet pan. This will anchor the parchment paper so it doesn't move around when you're piping out your dough. Pipe 2-inch rounds onto the sheet pan. Now the technique is fairly simple to explain, but it's a little trickier to actually do. When you pipe around, kind of twist the tip as you're finishing up. This will help to reduce the size of the tail that can form on each round. I'm not the best at this technique, but there is a way to fix it. To do this, smooth out the top of each cream puff with a moistened finger. This step's going to allow for an even rise and they won't burn, unless of course you overcook them. Carefully brush the tops of each round of dough with some egg wash. This step's going to give the cream puff a nice golden brown crust, but be careful not to let the egg wash run onto the parchment paper, or it could affect the dough's ability to rise. I've tried a number of methods when baking cream puffs, and I've settled on a 4-stage bake. This method gives me a perfect result every time. For the chocolate ganache, add a cup of heavy cream to a small sauce pot and bring it to a simmer. Turn off the heat and add 4 ounces of dark chocolate and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Stir the mixture until a homogeneous, velvety sauce forms. Then whisk in 1 ounce of unsalted butter. Put a lid on the pot and reserve the sauce until it's time to serve the cream puffs. It'll thicken slightly as it rests. After 40 minutes of baking, your cream puffs should look exactly like this. Let them rest until they've cooled off completely. And in the meantime, let's make our Chantilly cream. Add 1 cup of heavy cream to the bowl of a stand mixer fitted with a whisk attachment. Now you can do this by hand, it just requires a bit more elbow grease. Whip the cream on high speed until it starts to thicken up slightly. Then add 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar, a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a 1/2 teaspoon of orange blossom water. This last item adds a light orangey floral note to the cream, and it's totally optional. Continue whisking the cream on high speed until stiff peaks form. The end result should look something like this. Place the cream in a pastry bag fitted with a star tip and reserve it in the fridge. Grab the cream puffs and, working one at a time, carefully cut the top off of each one. The inside should be fairly hollow, but if there's some dough that's in the way, just remove it with your fingers. Fill the cavity of each cream puff with some of the Chantilly cream. Then continue piping over the edge in a circular motion, finishing with a generous amount on top. The final step before plating is to cover each cream puff with its respective top. Now for this video, I'm just going to plate up 4 of these cream puffs on a 10 by 10 square serving dish. Once the cream puffs are set up on the plate, take some of that chocolate ganache and drizzle it all over them. Top each cream puff off with some roasted, chopped pistachios, and finish the dessert with a dusting of powdered sugar. There you have it, cream puffs with orange blossom chantilly cream, dark chocolate ganache, and roasted pistachios. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. If so, consider watching my entire dessert playlist, and don't forget to subscribe.